a film here, even if he's working for a different studio, in this case Paramount. It also shows that even after all the years when he gave back to the studio tour for Jaws, he still gives back because he donated that entire set to us here at the tram tour. Allowed millions of people like us to see it over the last almost 20 years at this point. He's not the only filmmaker to make donations to the studio tour. In fact, we had a donation on the very first day, and it's still here. You're not going to recognize it from where we're at, but this beige house to the right-hand side is the original Psycho house from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. The movie came out in 1960, became an absolute hit, changed modern horror as we know it. And 4 years later, when our first glamour trams drove around the studio, Alfred Hitchcock was not only a big fan of the studio tour, he made sure that every guest got to see the original Psycho house. It has changed a little bit over the years. In fact, when it was originally built, you only saw the left and front hand side, like what you see on the camera, because you only build what you see on camera, right? You don't want to build anything else. Saves a little bit of time, saves a little bit of money. But since our trams have been driving around this thing, we gave Mother an entire house, except it has no inside. It's what we call a shell, right? It's 4 walls and a roof. If you go inside there, it's nothing but 2x4s and cobwebs. It's very scary. It's also built in a very unique way. Again, difficult to see from where we're at, but it's slightly smaller than a house of its size should be. It's built to scale, right? It's about maybe 75% of its size of what it should be. But it looks just as large because it's built with a forced perspective. The taller it gets, the smaller the features get. It's a little bit harder to see on this, but it's very easy to see on one of the best examples of forced perspective in the world, Hogwarts Castle. All right? It's literally the best instance of forced perspective you're going to see in the world, and it's right here at the Universal Studios lot. It also helped in the scene where Marion Crane, played by Vivian Lee, is coming up the hill towards the house. It almost seems to grow. It gets really creepy. Take a look. Psycho is considered to be one of the best movies ever made. Kind of started a new frame of horror suspense here at Universal Studios and the entire industry. It also changed how we view movies. It was very commonplace when Psycho came out for folks to go to the movie theater, find a movie that they wanted to watch, and just sit down in the theater. It didn't matter if the movie had already started, they would just sit around for the next showing of it to catch up whatever they missed. But Alfred Hitchcock forbid that. He told movie theaters that no one should be walking into the movie theater if the movie had already been started. So you got to be in your seat and the movie starts, mainly because there's some very pivotal things that happen in the first 20 minutes of the movie. And it also was the first ever instance of something ever seen in an American movie. It's not the shower scene, but right before that, it showed the first ever flushing toilets in cinematic history, the horror. Now you're going to be able to get a great view of the Psycho house and our newest addition to the studio tour, our brand new Hollywood sign just over my shoulder here. Once you are able to get off the tram and walk around in our new step onto the lot experience. There's even more photo opportunities on the other side of the basement hotel that you can enhance with our new cinematic AR filter. Just look for the QR codes next to Kong and Jaws to be able to create some iconic images. Now, y'all, this is going to be a limited stop for a limited amount of time to grab as many pictures as you like. When you're ready to get back on a tram, just follow the sign to the other side of the basement hotel. Now, I want to let you know, you will probably be boarding a different tram with a different guide, so do not leave anything on board, including your 3D glasses. Once the gates are open, it's going to be one-way traffic through our property.